Hey guys, this is going to be Stu's back on the bench for March-April 2019. I'm sorry for not done in a video in a while. It's just that there's been a lot been going on in my personal life, and what have you, work, etc. So, to be honest with you, I've had next to no time at the bench, yeah, it's been interesting, let's just say. So I've got not a lot of progress done on my projects, so you're gonna have to bear with me, guys. So I thought I'd get this video in and up and running, because obviously you haven't heard from me in a while, and it might be more the case this year, because my situation could possibly mean I may have to put the channel on hold for a while, but we will see. It might not come to that, because some of you have been knowing what's been going on, but I'm not going to divulge, so there you go. But anyway, that said, I just thought I'd give you an update on what I've been getting in, how my projects are going, etc. As I say, I've had next to no time on the bench for the last 2.5 weeks. I've had other issues getting in the way of the hobby. Obviously, I made an announcement about the 1944 group build. To tell you the honestness of the way things are going, it might be a case I may have to pull out. But if it should come to that, Mike, I will let you know, bud. But I'm hoping it won't. But we will see. Yeah, that's all I've got to say about that matter. But anyway, let's get on with what I've been doing. And first off, what I'll tell you is what I've managed to get in this month as regards acquisitions. First one has a couple of Airwaves Brass sets, one from Airwaves, which is for the SDK5Z251 ALSD. This is for my, well, one of my 2 half-tracks, because I've got another one in now. This is for my original one I managed to get in, the ALSD, which is in overall grey, because unfortunately the trouble is with the Tamiya kit is lacking in detail inside. So saw this and snapped it up, and it's quite comprehensively detailed, and it just adds a little bit more to your subject. And then obviously I've got another Airwave set in, which is for the AZ model Hamden, which I think you remember me mentioning, I think about a month or 2 months ago I managed to get in. This is just a full conversive interior detail set, because the kit itself is basically got nothing on the interior. So as and when and if I get around to building it, this is going to come in extremely handy, because you've got all the interior rigging, you've got the floorboard there. If you notice, you've got the control panel here, etc., plus bulkheads, so that's really going to add to the kit as well. And then also I managed to get from Woodland Scenics a flock dispenser, which is going to come in a lot more handy, because you've actually got the little holes in there for when you actually sort of put it down on the diorama, etc. Put your flock in, bum 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 bum, and it should come at the right angle with the grass. So that is going to be most practical and most comprehensive to use. It's basically used for foliage on trees as well, so quite handy. So there you go. And then obviously the first in regards to the kits, I saw this one on eBay for about $9.99, and I snapped it up. It's this little one, which is made by a company called Scala. I think they're no, actually, sorry, not Scala, RPM. Not a bad little kit by the looks of it. Unfortunately, there's no figures, which is a pain in the arse, because if you had these two, it could have been the basis for a good vignette. So somehow I'm going to have to see if I can hunt some figures out to go into this somewhere along the line online. So yeah, and obviously depending on if things sort of transgress here, I may well build this later this year. I don't know, we shall see. Next one up, because obviously there's a project I've got back onto, which has been a bit of a shelf queen for a while, is this one, which is the old venerable Tamiya V1 Fiza FI103, which is going to go with my V1 dio. because unfortunately the other one got broken in over time. So I managed to get a replacement in. Easy little kit, snaps together in about a day and you're done. And it's not a bad amount of panel line detail on it either. And the only thing you got is just basically all the oh god, what do they call it, stencils for it. So there's no sort of swastikas or anything like that. It's just basically prime it, paint it, panel line detail, put your decals on, matte varnish it, job done. So there you go. And that's basically the construction on the back. As you can see there, it just fits together, and if you want to you can put it in its cradle, but I won't be, because it's going to be sitting on the launch ramp. So there you go. Next one up was an ICM kit. Now I've got a load of Spitfires in my stash, and I saw this one because of its unusual markings and obviously its wing. It's the venerable ICM Spitfire LF9E in Soviet Airfiles markings. I just really am interested in this colour scheme. Now what I may well go along the route with is see if I'll get some aftermarket Russian decals for a export Spit, because I've heard some of the ICM decals on these aren't that brilliant. So we shall see as and when I get around to building this at some point in the future. So you've only actually got the one colourway, which is this one here of a Russian aircraft. I don't know where it was based, but there you go. It's a nice crisp clear detail of the kit as well. And unusually for me, I've gone in the realms of space, because I saw this at such a good deal I couldn't refuse to buy it. It is the 1/200th Hasegawa Space Shuttle Orbiter with rocket boosters. It doesn't look a bad little kit actually. Not a great real deal too. I mean, it's going to take some masking to mask the rocket booster because everything's moulded all in one on the jet set here, as it were. But overall it looks a very nice little kit, and it's not too big, and that will sit nicely on the shelf as well once it's built. Oh, sorry, that's it comes on its rocket pad as well, and you've got the option of putting the storage in the bay, but you won't be able to close it. So I think I'm not going to bother with that. I'll just have it as it is there, to be honest with you guys. So yeah, that should be quite an interesting project to do. Another one which came up as a snap bargain, and I auctioned for this, was a well-known German Wehrmacht vehicle, used throughout all theatres in Europe and obviously in Russia, is the SGL Einheitspersonal Kraftwagen Horch 4x4 Type 1A. I mean, this is an old kit, but it still stands up well. And obviously it comes with a figure as well. So that would be an interesting little build for a vignette. So yeah, I just couldn't refuse it, the deal they were offering. So bang, I snapped it up. And another one. As I told you, I've already got one Halftrack. I got this one in as well. It's a slightly different version of the House D. It's a Normandy version. Comes with the 2-3 figures that you got there, and would be the good basis for a vignette. Again, same virtual build as the SDK51 that I've got in my stash, which I got ages ago. And I think there is slight differences with the two of them, but side by side. So yeah, I decided to snap this one up at a bargain price too. And going on to the naval theme, well-known aircraft of the 50s and 60s. I managed to get the trumpeter version, again at a very good rate. Was the AS1 Mark IV. Yeah, I've also got a interior detail Airwaves set with this, I think. Let me have a look in the box. Oh no, got some aftermarket decals to go with it, which you can see here, because I'm actually going to do it as a COD aircraft. All I've got to do is look out and see if I can get some of these wing tanks either side, and I'm actually going to do it as the old Arks aircraft from 1970. it's just a nice looking colour scheme and just shows up that really bulky shape of the old Gannet. Yeah, very interesting indeed. That's going to be a project for the future, because what I'm hoping to do, obviously with the imminent re-release of Airfix's 1/72 retool Buccaneer, is do the old air group from the old R09 Ark from the 1970s sometime in the future, because as you know, I've already got the FG1 that Airfix released about 18 months ago of the Arks Phantom. So this would go nicely alongside that and the Buccaneer when it's released. So yeah, again, I've got this one on auction. I've got it at a very good rate. So yeah, there you go. Next one up is another version of the Gannet, which is the Old Flight AW Mark III. Again, you've got the option of doing it in 849B flight, which again was based on Ark Royal, which you've got on the back here, or alternatively you've got another aircraft, again from 849, which was based on the old Hermes in 68. I'm going to plumb for that one because I love this beehive colour scheme with the yellow and black nose. So yeah, that's the one I'm going to plumb for. Another one which I actually won on an auction is this little beauty, which is the Edouard Weekend Edition 1/48 Newport NI16. It is an old kit, as you can tell by the box, because it's got a little bit battered, but a neat little kit. If I open it up briefly, you can have a look inside. It comes with all the extras as well, so the actual seller, I think he put some extras in it, I can't remember. No, I'm mistaken, must be thinking of another kit. Not much to it, but it does look a neat little aircraft, a neat little kit. Nice level of detail on it. And as I say, I've not done a lot of biplanes. I've only done one or two in a very distant past. That was in 1/72. That was part of the old Venerable Airfix range, which is still going strong. But this is in 1/48, so it make a nice size and a nice little subject as well. So there you go. I might even do an in-box review on this at some stage. We shall see. Okay, let me just, I'm trying to put the box back together again. Here we are. And an unusual subject, detracting away from what I would normally do, but again it's a good basis for a vignette, and they're still on eBay. I don't know if Timmy is still producing. This is a series of dinosaurs, and I've actually got myself a little Triceratops. I think they did do others. I mean, you've got the Allosaurus, the Brontosaurus, and this I think is the T-Rex, Plateosaurus, or is it our Proteosauratops? I don't know. You get various other ones as well. I mean, you've got another one which you can get, which is, I think this is the Protoceratops. You can get that one. I'm not sure if they do these two. Or did. I think you'd have to look online, but some of them I think are out of production now, so there you go. But I've got this one for about £6.99. So I thought, why not make an interesting subject with the tonal variation on the skin and stuff, you know, it'd be something different. And last two subjects, again I've got back onto submarines, which is this one. Ravels German Type 23 sub, which I think was used near the end of the war. In fact, one of these took the very last action out in the Atlantic, was the last sub to sink a merchantman in, I think, April 1945, and it's actually featured on one of two options here, and I think this is the one that's actually featured. Straightforward build, you could knock it together overnight and it will make a nice sort of subject for weathering, that sort of thing. And finally, I've managed to get myself the most well-known U-boat, which is the Type 7C 41 Atlantic version. It's not the one with the open side panels, it's just a straightforward build. Nice level of detail on it, and it's quite a fair size for 1/144th. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting subject to build. Something unusual. It'll go along with the Type 20 or 21 I've got, which is even bigger. So that'll be a nice subject to sit on the side of the shelf or in the cabinet, really. So there you go. So basically that's all I've managed to get in this month, over the last 2 months. As regards my projects, well, as I said, I haven't got a lot done because I've had a lot of distractions life-wise, and I haven't been able to get any quality time on the bench. But what I have done is, I'll show you first, is an old Shelf Queen which I actually managed to get back onto, which is the old V1 launch pad, which you can see here. And what I've basically done, because it was sitting with just the polystyrene on side for the best part of 18 months, I've actually managed to get myself hold of some plaster bandage and basically trying to smooth over the banks either side. And then what I'm going to do is get some polyfiller and just smooth that a little bit more. And down here you can see it just goes down at the back, at the edge. Well, I'm going to smooth that down with some clay just to get it into the contours of where the actual main pathway is for the launch pad here at some stage, and then cover it all over with polyfiller, let that dry, and then tidy this up a little bit. I'll probably scribe some sort of lines here, so it's where the paving is on the bottom on here. Just scribe some lines across for the paving, and then prime it all in, starting as black, and then start painting the base colours down. Now possibly, I don't know how I'm going to do this, because I've obviously got to mask the actual launch rail from both of where the bank is, as it were. So I think what I might do is paint the actual launch rail first and the paving here, mask that off, and then just put the colours either side of the actual sloped hills, as it were, either side of the banks, and then sort of proceed from there. But I want to get this done first, and then I'll build the V1 and add that afterwards. So again, it's going to be an on-off project throughout the year. There's no finished date for this. It might not even get finished till the early part of next year, possibly, obviously depending on life events, etc. But either way, I want to get this old Shelf Queen finished. I really do. So that's that, really. And then obviously the other project which you've been having updates on is the old Tamiya Leopard 1A4. Well, it's coming on. I've managed to get the wheels all done. I've got them all primed with the old black styrene, and then obviously I used a template, circular template, just to mask off the wheel hubs and paint in the olive drab, as you can see there. And also with the other set as well, that's done, and I've just given the figure an overall base coat of the olive drab as well, and then I'm just painting all the other details as I come along. The actual main vehicle, well, here we go. It's in its base coat, well, nearly in its base coat, because I had a little bit of a hiccup. I've run out of paint. But thankfully I managed to get 2 more little paint bottles of the olive drab in again, so I can get this base coat finished. Now I'm still sort of umming and ahhing as to whether I want to do the camo version on this, if you remember was chiefly my main sort of choice, which is this version here with the base coat of olive drab, and then you've got the camouflage of light earth. I might hand airbrush this if I do it, but it's got a hard edge camo, which is slightly putting me off because I don't think I've got anything I can actually mask off the tank with on that. I might be wrong. I might have some white tack somewhere. So I'm sort of possibly leaning more towards just the overall base olive drab. I shall sort of and it, as it were, after I've given this another coat, as it were, because I think the paint on it was a little bit too thin, but we shall see. And as you can see, I've actually added, I don't know if you can see it in the light, I've added the aerial antennae with some aftermarket aerials. Trying to get this damn thing to focus, hang on. Is it going to do it? Nah, it's not going to play ball. But she's coming on. It is a lovely little kit. As I say, it is an old, venerable one, going about, what, 35, 40 years when it first came out. But it still stands up well against the old men kits, the Hobby Boss ones. And it's a cheaper alternative, actually, to be honest with you, and that's why I plumbed for it. Yeah, and as I say, the build itself was very straightforward. I mean, you literally could shake and bake the kit out the box. And it does look a mean-looking beast. It's very sort of low-slung, chunky, awesome-looking vehicle. But as I say, I've just got to get the next base coat down on this, do the detail painting. The tracks that come with the kit, well, as you well know, one of them snapped the actual little plug there for the front idler wheel. So I tried getting it out the idler wheel, but to no avail. So I'm just going to have to glue that on. But as I say, the tracks on this are awful. They're so bloody tight, you can't believe. I mean, it won't notice, obviously, because you can have the side fenders on, which, incidentally, I didn't prime, but I painted them straight in the base coat. As you can see here, straight on with the base coat. I didn't prime them, so there you are. That's the last thing that's going to go on when I've done the construction. So yeah, they're I mean, the detail on them's nice, don't get me wrong, but the fit on them, oh, bloody awful. So I mean, it would have been an easy option, but if that hadn't have happened, it wouldn't have changed my mind. So what I've plumbed for is Meng's workable track links, these ones. It's going to be my first effort at doing them. As I say, I did do some Bronco ones on the Sherman before, some time ago, and that was a bloody disaster. They can be a little bit delicate, so I may have to use a little bit of glue here and there. Now, the only thing I'm going to ask you guys is, because they haven't mentioned how many track links you need on each side, do any of you know out there? Because obviously this is the first time I've actually used workable track links on here, so I just need to know how many links are on each side of the Leopard. And if I've got enough, that's fine for this box. If not, I'm going to have to get another one in. So if you can leave some comments in the comments column, that would be brilliant. So basically, guys, that's where we're at as regards my hobby. Now, the base, I'm still umming and ahhing about whether to do that or keep it as a straightforward standalone build. So basically, guys, that's where we are at this point in time. Not much more I can really say to that. I have been trying to keep up with your videos, but time has been a bit of a premium. I'll just tidy that up a little bit. You know, so if there's been a lack of videos, that's why, because obviously a lot has been going on in my personal life and stuff. So there you go. I've had next to no time on the bench. So, you know, bear with me, guys. Sorry I've had not much output, but as I say, there's a lot going on at the moment that I'm trying to sort out. So there you go. Other than that, I hope to do another update on the Leopard soon. and I'll let you know how I get on with the tracks. But as I say, if you can leave your comments in the column so I know roughly how many links I need for each side, that would be brilliant. Alright, anyway, that's it for now, guys. So until the next time, get kit crazy, happy modelling, and I will speak to you soon. Cheers.